So I want to say thank you for inviting me here today. It was about 15 years ago that I was, as probably many of you are, I was working for a U.S. Senator at the time, coming to these briefings. So it's amazing for me to get the opportunity to now stand here to tell you a story. I'm here to tell you a story about my school. And what we're most well known for is becoming the first vegetarian public school in the country. But even more important to us is that we provide our students with the healthiest education possible and the best education possible. We began our story about 6 years ago with the idea in mind that the correlation between healthy education and academic achievement was absolutely instrumental. Before our doors even opened, we began partnering with a nonprofit called Fan for Kids, or Fitness and Nutrition for Kids. And we took their knowledge to then begin health and nutrition classes within our school right away when our doors opened in 2008. I get the advantage of using some pictures of kids, so it's always nice to show as we go through. As we began to grow, we worked to hire staff that were both excellent teachers, but also really interested in our mission. We saw that in just a really short time, it began to show some dividends. Parents were coming back to us talking about how their kids came home to ask to get brown rice instead of white rice, and if they could go to the grocery store to buy broccoli. Not something you hear on a regular basis. We set aside money and time so that I could make our science teacher also our health and wellness coordinator. And he was able to start a staff running club, a student running club, our first school wellness council, and apply for a variety of grants. So without his leadership and doing everything right alongside of me, none of this would have happened. So I consider myself really excited and happy to have that partner to go through this process with me. It was during one of these initial school wellness council meetings that we had our spark. And I kind of hope there's nobody here from the dairy lobby, because we have a common theme going here. It was our war, our absolute war against chocolate milk. Now, I know it sounds silly when I say that, but our third graders had been learning all about high fructose corn syrup and saw the amount of sugar in their chocolate milk. And they asked us the question directly, why are we drinking this? So for us, this was one of those amazing opportunities. We took what the kids had begun to understand and developed that. We took that opportunity to then grow our partnership with the Coalition for Healthy School Foods and work really closely with the New York City Office of School Foods. Now, to cut through some red tape, it took about 6 months to get rid of chocolate milk. But without the Coalition for Healthy School Foods, we couldn't have had that interaction happen. So again, it was about that partnership. We're also noticing that we had a small set of families that were vegetarian at home, and an even larger set of families that were very used to eating rice and noodles on a regular basis. So we wanted to harness that, take advantage of it, and continue to begin our transformation of our school foods. We continued to build our running clubs, pushing our cafeteria to open the salad bar, because at that point, our salad bar had been sitting idle for 2 years in a corner of the lunchroom. That in itself was a tremendous process. And doing things that blended the academic and health. So we started doing wellness poster contests. Kids got really active and involved in building wellness posters and having healthy testing meetings for our families. We brought in our families not to just talk about what they have to do to prepare at home in terms of studying, but it was also about how much sleep you need on a regular basis. Parents don't understand that 8-year-olds need more than 7 hours sleep, and what they should be eating at home. We were also able to continue having PTA discussions and build health and nutrition classes for our parents as well as kids. We started having food tasting classes, and this was another moment for me. I went into a food tasting that we had through Fitness and Nutrition for Kids, and I heard a student who had been struggling academically, and he yelled out, he said, "I love kale." And I'm thinking in my head, I didn't know what kale was until about 5 years ago when my wife brought it home for the first time. So this child, who was about 7, was 25 years ahead of me in terms of his understanding of fruits in health and nutrition. Absolutely unbelievable. In the next year, the Alliance for a Healthier Generation awarded us their civil recognition and named us one of the healthiest schools in the country. And it was our first family dinner night. This was another amazing opportunity. We were able to work with the Office of School Foods to have our cafeteria staff start serving some of the vegetarian meals that we had begun in the building. We had started at 2 days a week. So it was our first opportunity to serve falafel. Falafel was an amazing hit. I had a parent come up to me, his dad came up and said, "You know, I've sent my daughter to school with lunch from home every single day. But after tasting the food that you're serving in the cafeteria, I will never send her with lunch again. That was wonderful." So it's those moments. It's those moments from the kids, it's those moments from the parents that tell you you're doing something that you should be. You're making a difference in the lives of the families you work with every single day. Since then, we've had 2 more family dinner nights. And this one we just had in May was catered by Candle Cafe, which is a huge vegetarian restaurant in Manhattan. And we had over 240 family members. And for a school of only 420 kids, that was pretty amazing. We were absolutely bursting at the seams. As we moved along, there were some bumps in the road. I can't say that there wasn't. Our cafeteria staff was difficult. They were very used to throwing in the hockey puck hamburger and reheating it, but this became something that had to completely change. So we did have to replace our entire kitchen staff. They had to be committed to what we were doing. It was more work, and I kind of feel for this too, because my mother is the school cook in my old junior high school. So I have that side of the understanding too. But we were able to bring in a new cook who was also a mother of one of our children. So her commitment to this was absolutely amazing. So much so that she started creating menu items that got approved for citywide use in New York. So we continued to push forward because of kids like this. And who can say no to a face like that? And because our children were really understanding what it meant to live healthy and nutritious lives.
Hi, Reva.
Hi, Mr. Groff.
Why do we spend all this time talking about health and learning about nutrition?
In PS 22-4, teachers teach kids about health, so kids understand how health is really important to us. And one reason is that we can live longer, don't get any diseases or illnesses.
Thank you, Reva.
You're welcome.
I promise I didn't plant Reva. Putting her on the spot was a bit of work for her, but she did great with it. So finally the time had come. Our students really understood their own health and nutrition and making their own choices. And in our 5th year, 2013, we went fully vegetarian, 5 days a week. So as you can imagine, there was worldwide attention. We had phone calls and press all over the country and as far away as Australia and Argentina. Most of it was very positive. Now, I've been called some really heinous things in social media. One person referred to me as Hitler. I can handle that. But my opinion is when Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel start making fun of you and talking about the bullies stealing the lunch money from kids and kids being fine with it, we've done something that really makes a difference. So our work has enabled us to also become one of the 10 schools in New York City to only use compostable trays. We've been fortunate enough to get the Golden Carrot Award from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, work with Whole Foods, and get a absolutely wonderful list of recognitions. We've had visitors from all over the country come in. Rep. Esselstyn is one of those, whose Engine 2 Diet is an absolute wonderful book, bestseller, one that I use to cook at home with myself. Now, while there's certainly more of the story to be told, and still more of it to be written, we think that we've shown something incredible. We believe that there's a clear connection between health and nutrition education and academic achievement. Now in our 6th year, we can look back at an incredible list of accomplishments that have only been done by all of the partnerships that we've worked on together. Our families, our community, our nonprofit partners. Most widely recognized is that, which was just mentioned, that we are the number 11 school in New York State according to test scores. This was a major accomplishment for us. We've had a steady increase in attendance over the last 4 years, so much so that this year we average almost 97% attendance for the year. We have classes sometimes that have 1 or 2 absences for an entire month total. The average body mass index in our students has decreased each of the last 4 years. Staff observe an amazingly reduced lull after lunch, which typically comes from sugary drinks or heavy foods. And our participation rates in our school lunch programs have been extremely high. 63% of our students are eligible for free lunch, yet 77% of our students participate in the lunch program. Those numbers are almost reverse for New York City averages. So we believe, again, this connection is incredibly clear. And it's now our job, and we hope that other schools follow, to continue to tell our story, help them tell their story, and along the way, make our kids live longer and healthier lives. So thank you.